Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon once again, and welcome back to Kittredge Field for Game 3 of our triple header today, as the Colorado Buffaloes black team women's takes on the Colorado Mesa. I wish I knew their mascot. Hi everybody, I'm Kieran Warger, alongside Nick Evans, doing color commentary today. And it has been a straight up gorgeous day here in Boulder for these 3 games, hasn't it, Nick?
Oh yeah, I could not. I mean, the sun's a little brutal, but thankfully we are under a tent today, so we'll be for that. And to your point, they're the Mavericks, Kieran. So
Thank
they'll
you very
be.
much.
I always knew Mavericks as like horses, but they're like a bull kind of thing, which I think is cool.
Yeah,
And I love
here.
those kits. They are gorgeous. You have the black with the red stripes. As we were just handed, as you saw to start the stream, we were just handed the rosters, thankfully. And yeah, I'm thinking it'll be a great game. Really confident in this Buffs black team. I think they've got a really good squad around them.
Oh, for sure. And we have seen some tremendous performance from our 2 previous games here. Some tremendous performances by our Buffs. I believe 2 shutouts, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments on the
You're
stream.
correct.
And I am correct according to Nick. So let's see, can our black team pull this off against these Mavericks? And it looks like the Mavericks are about to take the field.
Yeah, and funny story. So we have a couple people as a crew today: writers for the football game, photographers for the volleyball game, and broadcasters for the hockey game, all taking place within the next couple hours. So as of right now, the plan is to cover half of this game, cover the first half, get that done, and then we'll stop coverage. So we told the captains before the game, please blow out this team so that you're not missing too much back home. And I think it's mutual. I think they expect that. I think this Mavericks team, we haven't really seen them too much, but I want to see what they can do. So yeah, I believe that's the plan right now, is to cover the first half. Hopefully this isn't a close game, in the respect of, that we're not missing too much. But it stinks that these first couple weeks, especially with football, that we have the conflicts that we have. But next week there won't be any conflicts. We'll get full games out there. But we at least wanted to get a full good half covering this Buffs and of course all the Mavericks people that are watching today.
Yes, and thank you so much for tuning in. We do apologize because we will be cutting it short, but we will do our best to bring you a great broadcast today for our final game of this triple header.
Yeah, that doesn't mean we'll have a good first half. I mean, I said I'm really confident in this Buffs unit. Again, the fact that there are 3 different divisions for this roster, that just goes to show about, how deep this Colorado unit can go and how explosive that they can go at any level, fighting against any other D1 program.
Oh, for sure. We have seen some tremendous talent from all of our teams here today, and that just shows you how special of a place the University of Colorado Boulder is when it comes to club sports. It looks like we're about to start at midfield, and we are underway. And the Mavericks will start off with the ball. Sophia Mullen kicks it way downfield, and it's turned over to the Buffs, and again to the Mavericks, but it's just out of bounds by the scorer's bench. Thrown in by the Buffs and nearly turned over there. Mullen for the Mavericks is going to pick it up. And that looks like number 2 kicks it way downfield. Barely kept in bounds. And actually it did go out right by the Mavericks bench. But it's picked up by the Buffs, number 13, Alicia Hermans. And it's back in bounds. Kiara Simmons with that one. And the play is whistled dead. Looks like that might have been an offside. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge from here.
Yeah, controlled by the Mavericks at the moment.
And so you mentioned it, Kieran, but we've seen nothing but dominance on this pitch today from 2 different units. We kind of saw that the last time too. I believe we saw 1 loss, but otherwise both Buffaloes, all 6 teams between the 3 men's and the 3 women's divisions, we've seen nothing but dominance on home turf. So, once we start seeing away games for these Buffs units, I want to see how they can reciprocate that on enemy turf.
That will be interesting to see. And like Nick said, we have tremendous talent here. Looks like both these teams are struggling for control. Controlled by the Buffs at the moment. Looking to make a play in the offensive zone. It's controlled by number 12, enemy Giovanni. Please forgive me if I say your name wrong. I am terrible with names. So for everyone watching at home, please correct me in the comments. We'll do our best to bring you a great broadcast here. Back deep into the Buff zone, heading towards the corner. In pursuit by number 20, Marley Naughton. Controlled by the Mustangs, turned over there. Deep kick by the Buffs towards Jenna Jose. Controlled by Juju Arsendorf. Picked up by Emily Givendari. A little bit of a battle for the ball here. Shay Ackman controls it for the Buffaloes. And that will be turned over. Right back to Naughton.
Talk about good pressure for this Buffs unit so far in their attacking third. I mean, it's been a little bit of a dogfight in the middle third, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing in this attacking zone.
Oh, for certain. There's a shot there with a good opportunity for Givendari. It's a deep kick by the Mavericks goaltender. It's picked up again by the Buffs in their defensive zone. A little bit of miscommunication there. Mavericks control it. Controlled by number 4, Sophia Mullen. Turned over. It's once again controlled by Naughton. Buffs still have it. That's number 18, Lauren Laley. Controlled by number 12, Givendardi again. Mustangs control it near the benches on the far side of the field, and that will go out of bounds.
So Kieran, I mean, you're new to all of this, relatively, and what would you say your impression is right now of the Buffs units you've seen on this turf so far?
I am very impressed by every single Buffs unit that I've seen. Tremendous. We've seen some tremendous offense, especially in game 1 today, where the men's gold took on
Colorado College Tigers.
That was a tremendous performance, and we've seen that across all the rosters playing today. Tremendous offense, little bit of slip-ups with communication that cost them some opportunities for scoring. But overall, I'm very impressed with what I've seen thus far, and being new to this, could not be more proud to cover this. That will be thrown in by the Buffs, headed by Mavericks number 2, Ava McLennan. Controlled by the Buffs at the moment, Taylor Jones. That's Lauren Laley. Buffs still in control. That's Laley again. Passes it to Shay Ackman. And in the corner, just kept in bounds. Could be a chance here for the Buffs. Bit of a battle for the ball here, and that's turned over to the Mavericks. Buffs quickly regain control. Taylor Jones kicks it back to her teammate, Kiara Simmons. Marley Naughton gets control. Back downfield to Juju Arsendorf. Arsendorf with a shot, and that's picked up by the Mavericks goalie.
Yeah, it feels like I'm seeing deja vu from this Buffs Black squad. I mean, that's exactly how it was last year, where they're very good at controlling the ball, but once they get in the attacking third, they don't generate the shots maybe that they're trying to get. And maybe that's, you know, on the part of Mesa, who's kind of playing some very defensive defense here, where they're just waiting for their chance.
That was a tremendous play by Mavericks number 14, Victoria Yoder. It's thrown in by the Buffs. Quickly turned over. Almost headed by the Mavericks number 25. The Mavericks still in control. Struggle here as this Buffs team tries to regain control and get themselves on the board here. Juju Arsendorf. And that will go out of bounds as Stella Stone for the Buffs couldn't make it to it, the ball in time. Buffs have had some chances coming into this game. Not nearly as many as we were seeing in our first 2 games today. But like you said, Nick, this Mavericks defense is really showing off today.
Yeah, that's kind of their mentality. They're not really like playing the other formations that the other two are doing. They don't look to get just breakout passes. You know, they're looking for a mistake from Colorado. They're trying to use that leverage to kind of start something. So you're not going to see them attack midfield too much, but you're going to see them try and intercept a lot of passes and try and break away that ball at the defensive side. They're just trying to play like guerrilla tactics, basically, where they know coming into this that they're the underdogs. They may not be as quick, so they're trying to play the zones in defense, and they're going to surrender at the midfield a lot more than the other 2 units you would see.
Buffs Lauren Laley in control. Long shot towards her teammate Stella Stone. Just can't get to it, and that'll go out of bounds near the corner. Stone will have the corner kick as the Buffs look for a scoring opportunity here. Kick is in, cannot capitalize, and it's out of bounds.
Yeah, set piece has actually been a really good strong piece for this all 3 of these women's units for the Buffs. So I'd expect them to see at least a couple chances on these kind of formations.
Good defense, and that's over toward the Mavericks bench on top of their tent there. We're back in play. Buffs control it. Laley shot just wide. What an opportunity there.
Yeah, these Colorado strikers have absolutely no shortage of power. It's the precision from that kind of distance. They haven't quite nailed down, but once they do, they have such really good pieces at the forefront of their offense.
Mavericks control the ball at midfield.
Kieran, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but it says Colorado has scored.
That is an error on the scoreboard here at Kit Field.
I was going to say, I haven't been quite paying attention because I'm also producing, but I'm pretty sure they have not scored yet.
That is not accurate, unfortunately, Nick. Of course, we would love to see that, but a little bit of a slip up there by the recreation staff running the scoreboard here today.
No, maybe not. I mean, you know, there are there are defaults. You know, maybe if there was like an error last game, they'll compensate by adding a goal to start. I guess we'll go by the scoreboard and assume that Colorado's up a point for one reason or another.
We'll assume that. Buffs control it. Jinanarvi. Just out of bounds. Mavericks will throw it in. Mavericks maintain control in battle for Shea Ackman. It's picked up. Leanna Webb with a shot just over the net. It's picked up by Lucy Ruth, goalkeeper for the Mavericks, who will kick it downfield. And it's headed, I think that was Juju Arsendorf for the Buffs. Yes, it was. Controlled by the Buffs, Arsendorf. So make a play. And that'll just go out of bounds. Looked like it was intended for her teammate Stella Stone.
Yeah, I don't know if it really reflects on the camera. I don't really know how that works, but you can kind of see like the heat waves coming off the outer edge of the field. So, you know, you got to wonder how much that plays an effect on all. You know, you see the tents on the benches, everyone trying to cool off, and for a team like Colorado, where they're really trying to not rely on passing as much as running, you wonder if fatigue is gonna maybe be detrimental to them against a Mavericks team that's kind of looking to intercept passes.
That's going to be tough here. It is a hot one here today, here on Kit Field. And you can see that heat reflecting. Controlled by the Mavericks. Looking to capitalize here in the Buffs defensive zone, excuse me. They're able to keep it in bounds in the corner. And that'll just go out towards the Buffs bench.
What a break there that excuse me, that Mesa was able to start there. I mean, it's exactly what we're talking about, where they're trying to get ahead of the ball and start a breakaway. And now, for the first time in a while, it seems like they're controlling this part of the zone.
Indeed. Excuse me, that was the Mavericks bench. Pardon my slip up there. Right here. Looks like we will be getting a corner kick from the Mavericks, number 7, Helena Gilmore.
And for the Buffs' other side of things, the set-piece defense, they're on and off. I mean, I've seen some really good kicks be generated from both sides as we get one here.
Good opportunity there for the Mavericks, just over the Buffs' net.
Yeah, nothing but ball and opportunity there for Mesa. So, as I said, Colorado, they can be consistent at times, but as you can see there, like, you know, they need to do a better job at denying those shooting lanes, or they have that much confidence that they can take away those kind of shots from the Mavericks.
Indeed. And it looks like ball's gonna get thrown in here by the Buffs. Number 8, McKenna Pearson. It's headed just out of bounds by the Mavericks into the stands.
Right next to our photographer, Remy Krapinski, who will be at volleyball later. So, as we mentioned, we every single person from this crew will be going to something more or less, either writing back home for the football game on later, or covering hockey. So, busy
weekend here.
Very busy weekend.
Sports.
Yeah, it stinks that we won't be able to cover both halves of this match, but yeah, that's just how it is usually most years when you're dealing with football. You know, you're dealing with all the varsity sports. I myself look forward to the dog days when, you know, most of the varsity sports are over and we got nothing but these kind of days where we can cover all the club games without having to worry about that.
Indeed. And like we said, looking at the schedule for hockey, which we are covering later, they will not be back home for what looks to be a month. So we will have some flexibility in what we can cover in terms of soccer coming up here. We'll have to look at these schedules.
Yeah, and looking ahead, Saturday, I'll be at the Baylor game, so there won't be any broadcasts on Saturday. But I don't think there's any games on Saturday, period. It looks like the men's black soccer team will be heading to Denver, which will be a very exciting game. I once took the subway down to Glenwood Village, down to see a concert, and you take the H line from Union Station. You pass Denver's campus, and it is beautiful. And that's the first thing you see on that train is their pitch. So that'll be a beautiful day in Denver. We won't be there for that, but we will be here for the triple header going on next Sunday. That's going to be the women's soccer excuse me, yeah, the women's gold soccer team against the Air Force, and then the black team against UCCS, and then men's gold silver on the day out against Denver. So it'll be a fun triple header. I don't know if we'll be here for that on Sunday. We'll have back-to-back games, and barring anything, we will be there for every single one of them on our YouTube on Kickoff Sports.
There's some tremendous control by the Buffs here in these last couple of minutes here. Right around midfield, and that's picked up by Kira Simmons. Passes it to Stella Stone. It looks like Naughton running downfield. Deflected out of the defensive zone by the Mavericks. There's a battle for it right at midfield as Colorado regains control. Schneider turns it over to the Mavericks.
Well, that is a very big spider that is crawling on our computer. You see that, Kieran?
Oh, yeah.
That's a big spider. But as I was about to say, as he's crawling towards you, watch out.
Hello.
As I was going to say, on a day like this where, fatigue isn't really, in your favor, and you're not having people sprint far as much, you're going to be relying on passing. And
Certainly.
I haven't seen enough, accurate passing from Colorado yet. They've been intercepted a couple times, which, as of regardless, that's what Mesa's looking to do. So I think once they tighten that up, you're going to be getting a really good look. One or two good looks.
Passing's been a bit sloppy here. We look for improvement here as we near the 20-minute mark in this first half. So hopefully the Buffs can really focus on their communication and get some good passing as Mesa will continue to seek out those mistakes by the Buffs, and especially in their defensive zone. Controlled by the Buffs right now in the corner. What a shot from Schneider. Almost into the net. Here's a chance here for Ellis.
Yeah, and what a defensive effort right there. I mean, really good shot. Number 14's name is blacked out, so I do not know. Or no, jersey number 14. Can't really see that from here. Victoria Yoder, I believe she was the one that gave us the call sheet. But really good job of getting that, what looked like would have been a perfect shot on net, getting the body in there and deflecting it.
Beautiful shot by the Buffs, just off the post. And they score! The Buffs are officially up 1-0. Could be 2-0. Oh no, it is 2-0. Buffaloes. What a shot! I didn't quite catch who made the shot, but just too much for Lucy Ruth of the Mavericks.
Yeah,
and the Buffs are up 2-0, which has become kind of a running trend here today. Wouldn't you say, Nick?
Yeah, no, we talked about nothing but dominance from these teams. Each and every one of them is something to be proud of. But the first and foremost thing, I mean, the 2-0 score. There's definitely some kind of story about that. Maybe last game there was something we discussed that caused that. There's usually things like that where there's like disputes at the end of games where they'll compensate for the next game. But regardless, it's a 2-0 game.
Tremendous performance here, as Ruth will kick it in to resume this play. It's off. And it's picked up by the Mavericks, but quickly turned over. Caught by number 2, Jennifer Ellis. A little bit of a sloppy turnover there as the Buffs struggle to maintain control of the ball, but they have regained control here in the offensive zone. Lots of turnovers from the defensive side. That's Audrey Gier. There's a shot by Lena Webb, just wide of the net. And Lucy Ruth will once again kick it in, or throw it in, Play is resuming. Ruth approaches for the kick. Way downfield. And it's headed by the Buffs, who quickly regain control. That's number 22, Jennifer Ellis. Stone. Stone has it towards Gear, who has a shot towards the net but could not connect. And it looks like we will be getting a corner kick. Jennifer Ellis for the Buffs. We'll look to put the Buffs on top, 3-0. And we're off. Oh, a tremendous stop by Ruth. Nearly went in there on the corner. Ruth will kick it downfield. Kept control by the Buffs. That's Brozart. But it's turned over to the Mavericks, and the Buffs gain control again. Plays are a little bit sloppy here, it looks like. There's some battles for the ball. The goalkeeper, Emily Lewis, for the Buffs, keeps it out of the net as they return to that side of the field. Buffs with control still. Be in trouble. Tremendous passing battle for it near midfield. Looks like Ellis with control toward Gear, who maintains control. In trouble and turns it over and is tripped up by the Mavericks, number 8. That is Dirksen. Number 2 for the Mavericks, Ava McClellan. Looks like it's just out of bounds near the shed on the opposite side of the field. Looks like we're gonna have a timeout here as both teams return to their respective benches.
Yeah, I can't fault calling a timeout here. I mean, you started, it might as well be a 1-0 game with the way that it started as a goal by default. But, you can't look at it as a 1-0 game because it's actually a 2-0 game. So I like this little decision here by Colorado, by Colorado Mesa, I should qualify. Especially with a, really hot, fatiguing day like this, try and get different subs out. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see a full substitution here, as you've seen people that have been playing out there for about 15 or so minutes in this hot sun.
We have seen so many players, especially on the Colorado side, who have been absolutely tough in this heat, battling this battle against this sun. It is tough, and the majority of their players, I personally haven't seen very many subs on Colorado's end. Colorado Mesa may have had a couple. I could be mistaken there, as there's one of the tent posts is directly in my line of sight of their bench.
Yeah, no, I mean, as you mentioned, I don't know how they do it, because I'm sitting here, we're both sitting here in the tent, we've had a tent the whole time, and I've just felt fatigued myself. If you told me right now to go jog, not even sprint, but just jog to the other end of that, towards that bench, I couldn't. And so the fact that they're doing this in such heat, I'm not used to the elevation, I'm not used to the lack of humidity in the air, so maybe it'll take me a couple weeks to get to that point, but right now I just spent most of my time on the East Coast at 400 feet, and there's not really sun, that's deadly like this, so kudos to them for having this resilience and kind of playing without the substitutions that Mesa has so far.
Yeah, it's been tremendous. You know, Nick and I, we're both Northeasterners, and we're really not used to the dry heat here. It is much preferred over what we have on the East Coast with the humidity.
Absolutely, it is 75 and very humid back home in Western Massachusetts, and it is what 87 here. I'd rather be here.
Oh, certainly.
Like, it doesn't feel hot. It's just the sun that feels hot. The air, though, that is the worst part.
Play is about to resume. Looks like the ball is near the corner, not quite at it, but it will be. Looks like it will be thrown in by Mesa. And play resumes. Mavericks can't quite get a play off there. Just send it out of bounds near the corner. Elena Gilmore for the Mavericks will do a corner kick here in the Buffs defensive zone. It's off. And it's headed away. It's at midfield. Zeva McClellan for the Mavericks. We'll take it, but it's out of bounds. Thrown in by the Buffs. Controlled. Almost turned over. Great pass there across the field. The Buffs maintain control here. A little bit of trip up there by Emily Schneider. We may have an opportunity here for Ackman. Can't connect.
So needless to say, not the dominance that we were expecting from this Buffs team, who I believe beat Mesa 14-0 last time they played them. A really new look Mesa team that you've seen out here that I honestly think they've been doing just as well, if not maybe a little better than this Buffs unit so far.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And like we said, with this heat, your passing game is going to go a long way. And just a couple slip-ups by the Buffs have not been good as Mesa tries to take over. Buffs still in control here, looking to make a play. And it's picked up by Coble for the Buffs, who will shoot it wide and out of play. Ruth with the kick. It's back in play. Quickly picked up by the Buffs, but there's a battle for it, and the Buffs can maintain control here. That's Gear. In trouble. Passes it to her teammate, Jennifer Ellis. Oh, a little bit of a trip up there. But Gear gets control again. Mesa's pursuit is in, or Mesa's defense is in hot pursuit.
Yeah, they're in like a hockey, like grinder kind of situation where they're trying to bump people off the ball. And it's been working beautifully. You saw right there. They're trying to use the physicality to kind of knock Colorado off their balance too. We saw those other two games. We didn't really see that. It was a more technical game. Whereas Mesa, you know, you try to dribble around someone. Why don't you just knock them, knock them off the ball? And that's exactly what Mesa's doing.
Oh, certainly. And it's worked to their advantage. The Buffs have an opportunity here. Oh, what a shot. And they score! The Buffs with a 3-0 lead with 17.5 minutes to go in this first half. What a shot. I could be mistaken. I'm pretty sure that was Jennifer Ellis for the Buffs.
I saw the same thing. I mean, and how about that? Just having possession. I mean, it feels like most of the time we've been looking to our right in the Buffs attacking zone. So for Mesa, they're not trying to hold the offensive zone that much. They're trying to wait for breakaways. But by the same token, I mean, Colorado, they with Mesa trying to take the ball away from them, Colorado's just giving them nothing. And apart from a few interceptions from this Mesa unit, we've seen them comfortably with that ball the whole time.
Yeah, the Buffs really are not giving Mavericks much of an option, and so they have really no choice but to defaults to their defensive plays. And it's thrown in by the Mavericks, but quickly knocked out. Oh, it's able to be kept in, and the Buffs will gain control here in their zone. Right along the lines here at midfield. There's a battle for the ball. Mavericks maintain control. Pass it across to number 7, Helena Gilmore for the Mavericks. And number 9, Tatiana Tudum. The Buffs with a tremendous shot. And oh, that looked like a goal, but it's not going to be counted. Just behind the net. And Lacey Ruth will once again kick it in for the Mavericks.
Yeah, that sneaky back net. Me and a couple commentators last year, we fell for that a couple times, where sometimes players would celebrate just getting the shot on net, but for us, we thought they scored because they were celebrating. And so there'd be a couple times where we'd have the score bug like off by 2 goals because no one knew. Because to us, them celebrating in the shot at the net, that signals to us, oh, they scored. But no, things like that, that can be kind of tricky if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, I tripped up with that. It's very deceptive from our view on the field right here. I tripped up with that in the second half of our first game today against CU Gold men versus the Colorado College Tigers. There's a battle for the ball here. Buffs are able to maintain control in the Mavericks zone, but it's turned over, and that's picked up by number 4 for the Mavericks, who is, the score sheet is not the easiest to keep, or this roster is not the easiest to keep up with, I will admit, for the Mavericks. Buffs are a little easier, and speaking of the Buffs, they do have control of the ball. Coble to Ellis, back to Coble. There's some passing that's working for the Buffs. Maybe in trouble here downfield, but it's turned over. Well, Buffs kept control. Schneider with a shot, and it's blocked by Ruth.
Yeah, as a former goalie myself, I like seeing how goalies can kind of recover letting up a couple goals. I mean, it's 3-0, but as we said, they started off with a goal to start with, so 2 that came off, maybe you need to be more agile or things like that. I just like seeing how goalies recover. As I said, as someone that played that position myself, so nice to see that they can stand tall and make a couple of saves since they last let that goal pass.
Buffs still are in control here, and that's Audrey Gear looking to make a play here. Passes it to her teammate. A little bit of miscommunication there. It's intended for Stone. Stone with a shot, and she scores! Stella Stone gives the Buffs a 4-0 lead with just over 13 minutes to go in this first half. 4-0 Buffs. What do you have to say about that, Nick? Tremendous performance.
I have to stop looking at my phone because I looked down for two seconds, and I was like, oh, where the ball was at. Like maybe they get a crosser or something like that. But I wasn't expecting anything there, and I didn't see any of that. But that just goes to show you like how quickly they were able to get that crossing pass out, and from how you described it, really good touch on that ball.
Oh, tremendous. Emily Lewis, goaltender for the Buffs, kicks it to her teammate. And that's picked up by Jennifer Ellis. A little bit of a struggle here toward midfield for possession, and that play is whistled dead. Looks like the Mavericks will kick it in here. number 33, Elena Cabral for the Mavericks, and it's headed by number 2. That's Ava McKellen. Long shot downfield. A little bit of a battle there as Mesa trips. It's not able to gain control there. Looks like we will have a corner kick. And Amelia Shawn Huxtable for the Buffs with this corner kick. Can the Buffs go up 5-0 here? We will see. Actually, it looks like Stella Stone will start off for the Buffs, and that play is whistled dead.
Yeah, that's the right person to be trying to bump off that ball, though. I mean, really good passing efforts we've seen from her, and, you know, even more than that, really good shots. So if there's anyone you want to be kind of denying right now, it's those strikers. You know, let the middies or the Wainers take it, because they have been lethal so far at the top two.
Another corner kick. The Mavericks with this one. It's number 25 for the Mavericks. And Lucy Ruth will kick it in. Goaltender for the Mavericks. Kick is off. Nearly headed by Amelia Shawn Huxtable. It's in the Buffs zone right now. Buffs keep the ball within their grasp. Ellis passes it to Gear. It's picked up by Bozart. Cantella for the Buffs. Lori Cantella looks to capitalize there. Oh, and that shot just deflected off the player, and that will send it out of bounds. We're seeing Mesa's defense wake up a little here. I mean, they've certainly been alive this entire game. A couple slip-ups there, some great scoring opportunities for the Buffs. Just could not connect. And that'll be kicked out of bounds. So Chloe Quintella will throw it in for the Buffs. Oh, a little bit of a slip up there. And a trip. And Naughton is battling for the ball, couldn't get it. The Buffs regain control as Hermans turns it over for the Mavericks. Kira Simmons for the Buffs. Kicks it downfield. Buffs in control. Intercepted by the Mavericks. A little bit of a sloppy control there for the Buffs as Naughton regains control at midfield. Buffs move downfield. Liana Webb with a deep shot. Nearly headed in towards the net. And that will go just out of bounds near the corner. 7.5 minutes to go in this first half. And Lucy Ruth will kick the ball for the Mavericks. Headed by Juju Arsendorf for the Buffs. Play was whistled dead. Looked like a foul.
Gonna get some subs too while you're at it for Colorado Mesa. And that was a good point that you mentioned earlier, that I really haven't seen as many from Colorado, so they've been fighting through it, and Colorado Mesa's kind of trying to shorten their bench, trying to get more people out there.
A little bit of a struggle for control there near the benches. Buffs will throw it in, but it's intercepted by the Mavericks, who again kick it out of bounds near the Buffs bench. The Buffs will throw it in again. Really not seeing too many subs, like you said, Nick. This roster has pretty much remained the same for the Buffs. They are powering through it. Turnover there. Buffs regain control. Arsendorf. There's a kick, and it's headed by the Mavericks, who maintain possession in their zone. Picked up by Quintella for the Buffs. A little bit of a sloppy turnover. That's number 15 from Mesa. And it will go out. Quintella throws it in for the Buffs. Ooh, a little bit of a check there by Mesa, number 28. Oh, couldn't connect there. Ball was intended for Emily Schneider, who kicks it out of bounds. Schneider heads it. Controlled by Mesa. A little bit of a, not sure what that was, but Webb went down near the corner. And Lucy Ruth will throw it in for the Mavericks. Kick it in, excuse me. Possession by the Buffs. It's number 11, Pierce Simmons. Buffs maintain possession. Quintella passes intended for Giovanardi. Couldn't connect. But Schneider with a shot just wide of the net, and it goes out of play. And Ruth will throw it in once again. Ruth kicks it in. What a kick there by Juju Arsendorf for the Buffs. Buffs maintain possession. Goes back to, I believe that's Simmons. Still controlled by the Buffs. That's Schneider with a shot towards the net. Picked up by Ruth. 3 minutes to go here in this first half. Ruth kicks it deep downfield, and it's headed by Colorado, but intercepted by Schneider, and the Buffs will maintain possession, but just out of bounds for Giovanari. Here's some communications from the Buffs team. Coming up with a play right now. It's thrown in by number 24 for the Mavericks. Battle for the ball. It's picked up by Giovanardi. Way downfield. Looks like that was Simmons. Taken again by Giovanardi. Naughton to Simmons. Buffs able to keep it inbounds. Laley gets possession now. Giovanardi again battling for it. In trouble. Kicks it back to Naughton. Oh, a little bit of a check there. Now Quintella passes it to Webb. But it's turned over and the Mavericks maintain control. But Laley able to pick it up again for the Buffs as they look to make something happen here before this time runs out. Quintella with a shot towards the net and it will go just over. Good opportunity there for the Buffs.
Well, we're about 1 minute to go in the final minute of club sports, club soccer sports here on campus, and I think it's been a great day, Kieran. The game's not over; it's only halftime, but I've seen nothing but dominance from these three Buffs teams that we saw play today.
Yeah, that's right, Nick. And like we said before, we were talking with the captains, and if this is a blowout, we can feel better about leaving during halftime, and that's exactly what we got here. As all three teams who played today, all three opponents against Colorado, have been scoreless. Ooh, a little bit of a check there by Schneider, but Quintella able to keep it in for Arsendorf. There's a shot towards the net, but it's out. And with 5 seconds to go, it looks like these teams will let the clock wind down and end this first half.
Well, and quickly too. I mean, what have you seen out there that that you've seen different from this Buffs team?
Oh well, this game for sure. I've seen a lot more passing. Whether or not it's been clean or not is debatable, but definitely seen a lot more passing. When you're battling the heat, you don't want to make too many breakaway plays, especially when you're not changing as much, you're not making as many subs. But I must say the passing was a little bit sloppy at times. I would have expected to see more from that, but unfortunately we will not be able to see that in the second half. But let's hope that the Buffs improve.
Absolutely, and well, to that, once again we apologize that this many conflicts come up, but we hope you join us next week. We're gonna have a full slate of back-to-back, almost at hockey, of club games for soccer once again on Sunday. So stay tuned for that, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. Any closing thoughts, Kieran?
Nothing else from me. I mean, this was a great day to be out here covering some club soccer. And that's going to do it for us today here for Club Soccer here on Scobuff Sports. Thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. And